Okay, I have too many soundboards up tonight because we're doing a different show. All right, here we go.
Hello and welcome to The Worst Movie Ever Made, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind, to find the worst movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Ockman, joined by my co-hosts and fellow mad scientist, Rob Scucci and Bob Hasek. Hey guys, how are you? And why are we doing it?
I'm fantastic because we're doing the good movie this week, and I realized I've never seen Airplane in its entirety, ever. Like, I've seen it in the background when I was like a kid doing homework, like with my back to the TV on the computer.
Yeah.
And I watched it once, like with my dad when I was like my daughter's age. She's like 3.5.
Yeah.
And I learned something about myself while watching it. Is my daughter's 3.5. She's not going to remember any of this stuff like in her life right now, but her personality's been shaped by her surroundings. And I don't have a distinct memory of watching the movie when I was that age, but I remember the feeling of this is fucking stupid and I want more of it. And I think this movie has affected my life more than I give it credit for. So I'm really excited to get into it.
I used to tout this as my absolute all-time favorite movie. I'm not sure if I feel that same way, just because I've seen so many. But it ranks up there really high.
Yeah.
Well, Bob, I am definitely going to lean on you and your airplane knowledge then a little bit more than usual. I hope you're prepared for that. I'm sending you all sorts of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do my best.
But as for now, we're going to flip it to some good reviews.
Cool.
Sorry. As opposed to our weekly bad reviews, and starting with TV Guide magazine, no author listed, says, the onslaught of one-liners and sight gags in Airplane is so relentless that even the most dour viewer is ultimately won over or exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fair.
I'm going to have you guys guess who wrote this one.
Okay.
It is sophomoric, obvious, predictable, corny, and quite often very funny. And the reason it's funny is frequently because it's sophomoric, predictable, corny, etc.
That's old Raj Podge Ebert, right?
Ebert
of the Chicago Tribune Times.
Again, I don't know how you always guess it right every time I ask you to guess which critic it was. But yeah, that was Ebert. Ebert gave it a 75, and TV Guide magazine gave it an 80.
Okay.
That's on Metacritic. So I don't know exactly how that works. If Metacritic was around then and they send in their scores, I doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't really understand. But good positive reviews from both.
Yeah.
How about some YouTube comments?
Sure. This is a case where the trailer was literally nothing but jokes, and yet the movie still has all the good jokes in it, which is a rare compliment because a lot of times the trailer's got the good part, and then you watch the movie and you're like,
yeah.
All right.
I like that angle. Yeah.
Let's see. Captain, how soon can you land? I can't tell you.
No.
You can tell me I'm a doctor.
No.
Want me to edit that out? I just realized.
I'll
edit that out. Okay. All right. And then this is a true comedy. Now, comedy movies are all about sex, drugs, and Seth Rogen.
That's so true. Man, Seth Rogen has his dirty little piggy fingers and everything, doesn't he?
He's a little shitbag too, because now he's saying like the jokes that made him famous are off limits. It's like, all right, so you got to the top of the hill and now you're just kicking people down.
Yeah, true. He did.
Yeah.
He was kind of in the glory days of like allowed to say anything, basically.
Yeah.
Just before that fell off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
So I know this is a new soundboard. So for test number 1, the best of its kind, do we have something we can throw it to?
Yeah, 1 second.
The best movie ever made presents the best of its kind.
Yeah.
And there it is.
Kind indeed.
Yeah.
Starting with Airplane 2. I wasn't sure whether or not that was a success. Apparently not. Robert Hayes did return. That's the guy that played Ted Stryker, I believe. Right, Bob?
Correct.
Cool. Got a 42, though.
Right?
It sucked.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's probably just a rehash.
It was different people making it. Totally
okay.
different people.
Ah, well, yeah. Spaceballs with Bill Pullman and Rick Moranis.
That's a great movie.
I agree. Unfortunately, only got a 56.
That's expected.
That's a crime.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't enjoy because I never saw it because I don't want to see it because I hate the vibe and I hate Dan Aykroyd. Is the Blues Brothers with John Belushi.
That's a good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's a great movie.
So
That's
I hear.
Childhood favorite. Yes.
I don't want to know. 73%. Blazing Saddles. It keeps climbing. Gene Wilder. 89%.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks. Very much like Airplane. Mel Brooks' humor. So. Just saying, just throwing that out there. And finally, even higher score from Monty Python and the Holy Grail with John Cleese is probably the guy who made it biggest outside of the Monty Python clan, right? Wouldn't you say, John Cleese?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I feel like he transitioned to American movies after Monty Python. Might have been the only one to do it, really. 97 at any rate.
Wow.
Giving us an average, a very high average of 71.4. Tough competition for Airplane. What do you guys think Airplane got?
You said Ebert gave it 75?
Yeah.
I'll go in line with that. I'll go like 80 because I think it's great, but I don't think it's for everybody.
I feel like it's going to be closer to 90.
So Monty Python and the Holy Grail got a 97. So did Airplane.
Oh, wow. Good for them.
Which means that Airplane tied for the best of its kind at a plus 25.6. That's a huge score. Huge score. Let me jot that down. Not that it matters because we don't compare good movies.
Yeah.
Okay, here I am jotting it down. You hear that?
Do, 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 do.
All right, test number 2, the plot pitch.
The best movie ever made presents the plot pitch.
Yeah.
When you're ready, Rob.
Oh, yeah. 3, 2, 1, go.
Despite his fear of flight, a determined Ted boards an airline flight in the hopes of winning back his beloved Elaine. Elaine, a stewardess, has left Ted for his inability to move on from a terrible World War II mission gone wrong. Ted flew the plane that went down that day, killing a fellow soldier, and he must now take the pilot's seat as foodborne illness has left the entire cockpit crew incapable. Can Ted tackle trauma, trade winds, and torrential weather? Can he safely secure said superjet smack dab center of the strip? And finally, will he win back the wonderful woman with which he wandered worldwide with whimsy, willingness, warmth, and loving worship? Find out on Airplane for $3.5 million.
I'll make it. I'll totally make that. And like I think it's gonna be cheap to get the money back because like it's all in one set, pretty much. So
yeah, true.
Yeah, I'll make that, and I'm giving that I'll give that. Are we on a 5-star or a 4-star? We never really rank things high in this show, so are we?
It's a 5-star grading system. I just don't think we've ever had one.
I'm gonna give it a 4 or 5.
Wow, Bob.
I'm gonna give it a 4-star, and yes, I'll make that. That's a great budget for a surefire winner.
Wow, 2 yeses and a 4.25 average for a grade. That is about as high as they come. Just another credit to Airplane the movie as we move on to test number 3, the best dialogue.
The best movie ever made presents the best dialogue.
Nice.
I apologize for my occasional fits of cough. I have like the 19th iteration of some kind of virus that's been going around for a couple of years.
Yeah. Follow the money, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I just need to blend it and then shoot it into my system directly, and I'll be safe. Number 10. Now, these are the best lines of dialogue as opposed to the worst. So number 1 will be the best line of dialogue as me really see it. Maybe these guys disagree, but they have a chance to voice their opinions once this is over. I hope you don't, though.
All right. I won't.
Starting with number 10. Would you like something to read? Says Randy, I think it is, the stewardess, to an old lady. The old lady says back, "Do you have anything light?" And Randy hands her a little pamphlet and says, How about this pamphlet? Jewish sports legends.
Perfect.
It's just true.
Yeah.
It's
Fine.
We're gonna get into a conversation. A certain conversation about how offensive this movie might be later on.
Yeah.
Number 9, I like the language translations. It's supposed to be like in Spanish under the English.
Yeah.
One such example is please return to your seats, says the monitor, as it's blinking, and it says go back and sit down.
Yeah.
There were a lot of those. I caught that one and thought it was kind of funny. So number 8, this nice young man comes over with a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
2, one for him, one for this young lady, and cute little puppy love thing going on. And he asks if he can sit down. She says, yeah. Then he asks her if she wants some cream, and she says back, no, thank you. I take it black like my men.
Yeah.
There was a TV version of this movie that was released where they had like scenes that to make it longer where they cut out the offensive scenes, and that scene was actually like 3 times longer. They get in this whole conversation where they sound like adults. It was painful and awful. I'm glad they cut it, but I did have a chance to see it once. Just a little trivia for you.
Yeah, I'm glad too. There were spots in this movie that I just didn't find funny, and that probably would have been one of them.
Yeah.
Number 7, speaking of cream, our first clip of the day called It's Kareem.
Wait a minute. I know you. You're Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You play basketball for the Los Angeles Lakers.
I'm sorry, son, but you must have me confused with someone else. My name is Roger Murdoch. I'm the co-pilot.
You are Kareem. I've seen you play. My dad's got season tickets.
I think you should go back to your seat now, Joey. Right, Clarence?
Oh, he's not bothering anyone. Let him stay here.
All right, but just remember, my name is Roger Murdoch. I'm an airline pilot.
I think you're the greatest, but my dad says you don't work hard enough on defense. And he says that lots of times you don't even run down court. And that you don't really try, except during the playoffs.
The hell I don't. Listen, kid. I've been hearing that crap ever since I was at UCLA. I'm out there busting my buns every night. Tell your old man to drag Walton and Lanier up and down the court for 48 minutes.
All right, so this is obviously not a kids' movie, so we can't get on them about breaking the fourth wall. I think they did it in such a smooth way there that, like, are you supposed to think that Kareem is playing Roger Murdoch for real, but like he just gets so annoyed by the kid talking to him that he breaks the fourth wall? Like, I think keep recording, or is that part of the script? Like, obviously it is, but
I think the gag is like he's trying to get away from basketball. And like he's clearly been outed, and he's trying to like act like he didn't, and the kid just keeps leaning into it. Like, so I don't think it's a fourth wall thing. I think it's just like he's just like, it's off season. I just want to be a pilot, be a normal guy for a while, and then. But it could be. I don't know. Actually, it could be fourth wall. Either way, it's funny.
No, I think you're right, Rob. Because when they drag him out of the seat, he has his shorts and his goggles on and stuff. So he's obviously like,
that's right.
Long socks.
I'm full of trivia, by the way. Originally, that was supposed to be Pete Rose. I don't know if you know the baseball player Pete Rose.
No.
Yeah, guy that's in big trouble still. He is allowed into the Hall of Fame because he bet on his own.
He was originally cast for that part and couldn't make it.
Oh, bummer.
So Kareem was, in my opinion, a better choice anyway.
I agree completely. We're going to talk a little bit more about Kareem later, but as for now, we'll move on to number 6. Some guy in the plane, he's opens up a flask and takes a sip of something. This old lady across the aisle takes a dirty look at him. He turns all nice and says, "Would you like a little whiskey, ma'am?" And she says, "Certainly not." But then she pulls up a little mirror with cocaine on it and just takes like 2 lines. And, like there's like a tinkling sound, and she like adjusts her nose.
Yep.
Number 5, Kramer is talking to Ted Stryker as he's like coaching him on how to fly the plane, and he's just hit some turbulence, and Kramer says, Flying a plane is no different than riding a bike. It's just a lot harder to put baseball cards in the spokes.
Yep.
Good one.
Yeah, I don't know why I just really enjoyed that line. This is McCroskey, the like blonde-haired kind of disheveled guy.
Yeah.
This is a collection of lines of his, but I'm gonna he says, I picked the wrong week to quit, and then the first thing he says is smoking as he lights up another cigarette, right?
Yeah.
But then a little while later in the movie he says drinking, and then he takes a shot out of a flask. And a little later he says, I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines, and starts taking like pills. And then like towards the end of the movie he's like, I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. He starts like, he opens up a bottle of like Elmer's or whatever and starts sniffing it. All right, let's move on to our next clip. This one's called Guess.
I'm sorry for spoiling this with the YouTube comments.
We're good.
Captain, how soon can you land?
I can't tell.
You can tell me I'm a doctor.
No, I mean, I'm just not sure.
Or can't you take a guess?
Well, not for another 2 hours.
You can't take a guess for another 2 hours?
No. I mean, we can't land for another 2 hours. Fog has closed down everything this side of the mountains. We've got to get through to Chicago.
This is why I think basketball. I know Matt Stone and Trey Parker don't like basketball, but it's a David Zucker film, and I love that movie so much because this humor where it's like, I want you to play ball with me. I thought you said you didn't want us to play ball. Wait, you want us to play for Dallas? And Baxter's just like,
yeah.
Did I fart? Good stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I'm giving the dialogue segment short shrift here because there are I kind of want to talk about the actors specifically, but the next test is probably a more appropriate place to do that. So if you guys,
it's okay because the dialogue will get a special video bonus whenever that video gets posted to the TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, we should post that tomorrow as like an announcement of the episode.
Cool, let's do it.
Yeah, so look forward to that, guys. Check out number 2. This is the control. Some guy in the control room, like in the control tower, and he's saying that it makes sense. He says, Captain, maybe we should turn on the searchlights now. And Kramer goes, no, that's just what they'll be expecting us to do.
I always love that line.
Man, that line made me laugh pretty hard. I was not expecting that. Really funny. And finally, we've got those combined clips that you were alluding to earlier, Rob. So why don't we just hit both of them?
Had to get that in real quick. Here we go.
The stewardess said both pilots.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
How are the passengers doing?
I won't deceive you, Mr. Stryker. We're running out of time.
Surely there must be something you can do.
I'm doing everything I can. And stop calling me Shirley.
I mean, that's got to be the most iconic line from the movie, right? The callback. The callback when he says it again is so good. Because you still don't catch him say Shirley, like this was effectively my first viewing as well, Rob. I've seen it before, but not in so long that I didn't even catch it when Ted says Shirley for the second time.
Mm-hmm.
So when Leslie Nielsen's character is like, and stop calling me Shirley, I really lost it because I heard it again, and that's really clever writing.
And Leslie Nielsen's really good for the whole just deadpan shtick. I'm not going to ask you, Bob, because I already know the answer. But Chris, have you seen the Naked Gun movies?
Yeah, I've seen the first couple.
Have you seen 33 and a Third?
Yeah, I think that's the best one, right?
Yeah, but they're just like the fact that like Bedlam could be happening behind him, complete straight face. Like
exactly. He is kind of specifically who I was talking about when I was saying I'm looking forward to breaching our next test, which is coming up now, so that I can have that conversation with you, Rob. That delightful conversation that you want to have right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a little blue balls for the dialogue. Yeah. So let's just move on to test number 4. The best acting.
The best movie ever made presents the best acting.
I can't wait till the show gets bigger and Van Halen estate just sues us into the fucking ground.
Yeah, woo! Can't wait to like lose everything before we even get started. All right, number 1. This one's called Roses.
All right, here we go.
Oh.
What's his problem?
It's Lieutenant Hurwitz. Severe shell shock. Thinks he's Ethel Merman.
You'll be swell. You'll be great. Gonna have the whole world on a plate. Starting here, starting now. Honey, everything's coming up right.
War is hell.
It's the war is hell at the end. The very quick war is hell.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even know if that's like best acting qualified. I just thought it was a really, really funny segment that I had to get in here somewhere. And I just, something about the Ethel, is it Ethel Merman?
Yeah.
Like the male version of a mermaid. That's a rough last name.
Yeah.
She was super famous as a musical theater person, and that was what to be her last film role.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
But I love how it's... Go ahead, Bob.
No, she was super famous in the musical theater world.
So I loved how it was supposed to be like Lieutenant whatever, though, in actuality. You know? Again, it's them like flirting with the line of like, what are we supposed to believe is actually happening? You know?
Yeah.
Which I dig. I like that kind of brain fucking that they offer.
Yeah.
Number 2, we've only got 2 more.
Okay.
Because for acting, this was tough. It's one of those, like, when they're not taking it super seriously, it's really hard to pick out, like, really effective acting because either all of it is or none of it is. And I feel like pretty much all of it is.
And it's like when you have a really bad movie, you can't just select the whole movie and play the clip, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So number 2 is All Together.
Doctor, I've checked everyone. Mr. Stryker's the only one.
What flying experience have you had?
Oh, I flew single-engine fighters in the Air Force, but this plane has 4 engines. It's an entirely different kind of flying, altogether.
It's an entirely different kind of flying.
I actually think that was probably hard to pull off with a straight face.
Yeah.
That must not have been the first take. And
No way.
No.
Yeah, the guy Robert Hayes, you know, he has fits and starts here where I think he actually is a really effective actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he delivered that line well, as well as some others down the line. But yeah, just the performance of them doing it in concert was really funny and well delivered in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to move it on to our last clip of the day. And this is what you were getting at, Rob, about Leslie Nielsen's ability to be seemingly dead serious in what is obviously a comedy role, and how effective that is. So let's throw it to the zipper.
Sounds good.
I want to tell you something I kept to myself through these years. I was in the war myself, medical corps. I was on late duty one night when they brought in a badly wounded pilot from one of the raids. Could barely talk. He looked up at me and Doc, he said, "The odds were against us up there, but we went in anyway. I'm glad. Captain made the right decision." The pilot's name was George Zip.
George Zip said that?
The last thing he said to me, Doc, he said, "Sometime the crew is up against it. The brakes are beating the boys. Tell them to get out there and give it all they got. And win just one for the zipper." "I don't know where I'll be then, Doc," he said. "I won't smell too good, that's for sure."
Yeah.
I think at least in 1980, maybe to today, there's not too many actors that can deliver that goofy dialogue with that kind of tone. I don't know, and it helps that his voice is so cool too.
Yeah.
But I mean, Bob, do you know what movie the Gipper is from? Is that like The Natural or something?
I feel like honestly don't remember. I remember Ronald Reagan being associated with it, but I know that speech was from a movie. I can't think of it. It wasn't The Natural, but
win one for the
something
Gipper.
Older.
Yeah,
it was something older. I mean, everything about this movie when it comes to acting is a testament to the filmmakers, because Leslie Nielsen was a romantic hero lead for his entire adult career. And then when he got old, he was like, well, I'm not going to be that anymore. And they hired him for this movie, and suddenly he had a second life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
literally, like almost everyone in this movie was a serious actor who they put in these silly roles and just played it straight. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I think it really does help. There are characters on the fringe that bother me, but again, we're going to talk about what bothers us, at least me, when we get to the catch-all.
Heard.
As for now, why don't we throw it to whatever's going on with the ad situation, Rob?
All right, because we're doing like this is like the good movie episode. I had to make an announcement because we finished the 8-episode run of bad movies, and I lost the bet on Fact or No Fact.
Yeah,
meaning I have to watch a significant portion of, or like the whole Cat in the Hat at half speed, and I will be live streaming that. I think by next week I'll figure out how I can do like the picture-in-picture on that, or whatever I got to do it. But I think we'll just do it on our Instagram, maybe YouTube as well. And
yeah, that sounds good.
So you guys could either select like a half hour that I'll watch at half speed, which will be an hour, or if my schedules open up enough, I think I'll just go full Monty and do the whole movie. And
wow.
And you guys are welcome to chime in. I will be because it's a live stream, I will be fielding questions. I'll do whatever I need to do to humiliate myself and waste.
Actually, Rob, you might be the best of us to do the live stream. Just spitballing here, because you do think you ad-lib and think on your toes really well. So when you get those live stream questions, I bet you can at least perform better than I would at those firing it off quickly kind of funny comments.
So no ad read. Just want to pull the curtain back, let people know what's happening. We'll have a solid date at some point, and like if you follow us, you'll see the live notification. So just hop on and do that. I'm gonna try making it fun.
Well, let that be an advertisement for it, and I think that would be a really nice way to introduce us to YouTube, because I've been trying to think of a way for us to put some content up there. So if we had like an hour-long YouTube every season or something,
I'm down with that.
A way for us to get in there.
Yeah, and then if this thing takes off, we can figure out how to like get us all on Discord, and once a season, like do a video upload of either just a stream, Q&A, just a movie talk, whatever. So we'll see what happens.
Sounds good to me.
Cool.
All right, sweet. So with that, then we'll throw it to the best production, which I guess you can.
Do I have a best production? Here, one second. I got it.
I'm wondering.
The worst movie ever made presents worst production.
Cool, we got it.
Nice. Well, I already started talking about this a little bit, but the strength of this movie is in really two parts: the writing, which I guess is all of it in my opinion, but also the directing and the producing to push their vision through the studio, because this is 1980. The wackiest movie that came out before that was probably Animal House, and it got mixed reviews, but it succeeded. So the studios were on board to make something like Animal House, but unfortunately, no one was on board to make anything like Airplane. So they had to basically say, "Trust us, this is going to be funny." And they hired all serious actors like Robert Stack. I don't know if you know Robert Stack. He's the one who played Kramer.
Yeah.
He was in the original Untouchables TV show as Elliot Ness. And
I know him from more recent performances. Actually, he's I don't know if he's still alive, but he's older in the stuff that I would recognize him from. And I can't name anything, but I knew him, so I looked him up.
Right.
Unsolved.
Oh, he's super
Mysteries.
famous, yeah.
Yeah,
And
there you go.
when he was cast, they actually said just play it like Elliot Ness, and that's where it went really well. They pushed the studio to get all straight characters. Like when I say straight, I mean like straight man, and rather than silly characters to deliver all the dialogue. And when a comedy relies on the dialogue and just deliver them straight, then the joke really sells itself. Anytime you try to act funny, it's rarely funny. And that's what I have to say. My big hang up on like the scary movies is they try too hard to be funny.
Yeah.
It's just
And to what you're saying, Bob, this is the most slapstick movie I've seen without actually being overtly slapstick.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like it just happens in front of you and you let it happen.
And thank goodness for that. And it was really the Abrams Zucker. They demanded the studio let them make all the decisions with casting and directing and all that stuff. So I'll say just the commitment to casting and direction and writing just made it such a perfect marriage of those things.
Okay, let me go ahead.
No, that is pretty much all I really wanted to say about it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to cut you off there. I'm just going to take a moment to write it down. Okay. Now we're going to move it to test number 5. What's complimentary?
What's complimentary?
And nothing gets me down.
Cool.
Yeah, we it's my fault because we really didn't have a good title for like a way to flip the most offensive. Yeah. So it even makes it difficult when you're doing a good movie to pick out like what's complimentary because it doesn't immediately come to mind. It's not like what's not offensive because you aren't offended and you have no like triggers for the non-offensive. So let me just throw out what I've got and then we'll see if you guys have anything you want to mention that complements the movie to this day. How's that sound?
I like it.
I like, despite obvious issues with this thing I'm about to say, I like that they had a diverse cast. I felt like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was really doing his thing. For a 7'8", whatever he is, basketball player, athlete, super athlete guy who's already extremely famous and doesn't need this really. I mean, it was only a $3.5 million budget for everybody involved, which are all serious actors, as you said, Bob. He probably didn't get paid too much. He just kind of wanted to be in this goofy movie. Yeah. And I think he tried. I don't think he's the best actor in the movie. But I think I was he in that Bruce Lee film already?
Yes.
Bob? He was. Okay.
Yes, that was the 60s.
That was the 60s?
I think so. 60s or 70s.
Holy crap. I thought it was like early 70s. Damn. But anyway, yeah, so I guess he's already established as a guy you can call on. But I felt like he sold himself pretty well. Like that clip we played before, he was pretty good.
Yeah.
When he gets sick, he's pretty good. To have an NBA legend on the squad for this movie, I think it ages well.
Yeah.
Apparently they offered him a certain amount of money. It was like 15,000, 20,000, and he asked for 5,000 more because he just wanted the money to buy an Oriental rug.
That's awesome.
Of course he did. I hope he saw 10% Charlie at Chaos Oriental Rugs in Milford.
Okay. Yep.
I think the drinking problem joke that Ted has still worked really well. Didn't know where to squeeze that in, but I thought it was kind of tasteful that they went with what you assumed was going to be even worse because every situation they seem to amplify and like the whiskey turns to cocaine in that old lady's nose. Or the old lady a different old lady that tries to come over and help like speak jive. Like everything seems to just get worse and get worse. And I thought it was nice that when he had a drinking problem, it was just him like shoving a Dixie cup full of Gatorade into his own face because his drinking problem is that he can't get into his mouth. I like that. Also, what I think still works really well is the surprisingly intense landing scene, despite all the like waterworks that they had on Ted and stuff. It was still they put a lot of comedic elements into the landing scene that should have put a giant inflation device around the plane and made me feel safe anyway. But I actually was tense, like the thing is going to crash and everybody's going to die, and I don't know how they pulled that off in a comedy movie like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the clever wordplay.
Oh God,
mentioned already, but man, the wordplay in this movie just ages like wine.
Yeah, there's so many I can't remember any of them. It's just relentless.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm probably gonna watch it again this week just because it's just so fun.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything you want to throw in there for something that complements the movie well to this day before we head on to our next segment?
I've got something.
Yeah.
So the movie Senseless was one of the worst movies we've seen. That was like 2 seasons ago or last season. And the problem was like when you try being like overtly offensive to be funny, but you don't land the joke, you just look like an asshole. This movie's the opposite, where it's like on like internet culture these days, like trolling. The way trolling used to work is you kind of put the heat on yourself. You make yourself look like an idiot, and you give everybody an out. And that's what makes it so funny, because you're the target of your own joke, essentially. And I think Airplane does that with like all the racial scenes, like the speaking jive. You feel like everybody's in on the joke. You feel like everybody's enjoying the joke. They're having a good time. You're not making fun of people for speaking Ebonics. You're just like, you're taking part in it and you're having fun. And I think that's what separates Airplane from like newer comedies, where you're just going to point out the low hanging fruit jokes, whereas they had like captions on the screen translating their different vernaculars, I guess. So I just feel like it was just because the joke, like the butt of the joke is the movie itself. You're able to make those jokes and still everybody has a good time. You don't feel overtly offended by it the way they play it out.
I agree. I'm glad that you said that, because I was going to open this up in the catch-all. Bob, I wonder if you agree. But my thought on that, to just expand a little, is that it makes the jive seem like a more complicated language than English. Mm-hmm. It makes you, the viewer, feel kind of like you're the idiot, when you're listening to them, because it just sounds cooler and faster and smarter, and it means to them what it would mean to us if we can translate. So it is kind of funny when that old woman is the one who is somehow able to understand. And it doesn't even go well. Like you explained, you expect it to go well when she goes over there, but then they get in an argument and she like kind of cusses them out too when she's like walking away. So, Bob, how do you feel about that whole scenario?
I have 2 comments on the jive scene. So, first of all, when they wrote the script for that scene, it was just a bunch of mofo this and mofo that. And the 2 actors that came on to play the part, they wanted to rewrite it. They said, no, we know how jive sounds. We're going to actually rewrite this scene with the writers. And they did. So what you saw was the actor's contribution to the scene, which made it so much more genuine and also real. And also, like you said, we're all in this together kind of thing. I like that. The second thing was, I don't know if you know the show Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah, the black and white one
sitcom, old black and white sitcom. June Cleaver was the mom in Leave It to Beaver, and that's the lady who comes over and tells them.
Okay.
So that was the big in joke, was that everyone knows that's June Cleaver. She would never speak jive. So there's a lot of those jokes of the time, that, like Ethel Merman, where they unfortunately don't age as well as the rest of the movie, but I still appreciate the fact that they tried to put them in.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right.
You guys want to mention anything before we head back to our segment we haven't touched in a few weeks, the shitcoin?
Oh, yeah. I got nothing. I'm good when you are.
Okay. I just want to preface by saying this is a short and sweet shitcoin.
Okay.
It's a quick blooper.
And I think I have a different shitcoin bumper for the good movie show. So let's see.
Shitcoin. And I know, baby, just how you feel. Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. So this is I'm speaking as meme wedding ring, emoticon. How are you doing?
Yes.
I really need a quick help from you.
Yes.
I changed my password too many times and I can't log in on computer. I was asked to confirm my Instagram from a friend. Please, can you help out? Crying emoji, 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 crying emoji.
Yes.
And here's a screenshot of an error code. Did you receive a help link on your text message?
Yes.
Send me the screenshot of the voting link you receive.
Yes.
And I need to I got to step out and break my usual shtick here. This is over the course of days. Just I'll send you your entry link. All you have to do is copy and send it back to me, and I'll send it to my sponsor.
Yes.
A voting link has been sent to you via message. Screenshot it and send it to me. And like the prayer hands emoticon.
Yes.
Screenshot it and send it to me.
Yes.
Are you there?
Yes.
Have you seen the link?
Yes.
AFA.
Yes.
I'm and end scene.
That's it for that one.
What does AFA mean? I wonder.
I don't know. I asked around. I couldn't
Let's
figure
see.
out.
I'm getting Association of Flight Attendants. That's timely.
Wow.
My job.
Association.
In my job, it's available for assignment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, American Finance Association, Agriculture Future of America. So I don't know what she's trying to do.
I figured it was like some kind of okay, fuck off, because she, after the 20 yeses she got in a row, she finally understood that I wasn't going to answer with anything else.
That was 4 or 5 days. That was over 4 or 5 days, I think.
Yeah, it was. I just, when I had time to type yes, I did. All right, let's throw it to the catch-all.
All right, let me get over to the catch-all.
Gotta catch 'em all.
All right, I'm just going to lightning round these bad boys.
Okay.
You guys let me know if there's anything in here you want me to stop and expand on, or if you disagree or have something you want to say.
All right.
I guess I don't know if I love the Jaws airline like opening credit scene. I felt like I don't know. It was how many years after Jaws?
5, I think. 75 for Jaws, 80 for Airplane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Was it that topical still? And I don't know if I found it particularly funny. I wanted to see how you guys felt about it.
I think back then it was probably hilarious because Jaws was like a never before seen cultural phenomena.
Yeah, true.
So
Maybe
think
that's
back,
them declaring themselves.
Yeah, but I saw it today. I was like, I mean, it probably could have aged better, but I could see in 1980 in a movie theater getting a good laugh out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
The Mayo Clinic, I did like the they throw it to the Mayo Clinic and all of his shelves are just full of like gallons and half gallons of mayonnaise. The line was okay. He was like, it was like, Mr. Ham is on line 2. Okay, put me on with Ham and hold the mayo or whatever.
Yeah,
I loved that scene. And that scene, I loved when they keep calling over the PA. He just holds the phone down and says, "I got it," and they say, "Thank you."
Yeah, and doesn't he start with the wrong phone? And they tell him, like, he picks up the red phone, and somehow through the red phone line, she's like, no, the white phone. He's like, oh, okay. Picks up the white phone.
That whole sequence gets me every time.
All right, so I mean, we kind of already talked about it, but yeah, I did write down that the movie can be pretty offensive.
Yeah.
Some, like Rob was saying about how they're kind of flattering in when they're talking about racial issues and things like that. I think you were kind of going for.
Yeah, Rob, you're putting the joke on yourself instead of at the expense of the person you're making fun of.
I still don't know how to feel about the tribal stuff when they like flip it to a guy who's just like he's reporting the news by playing spoons on like a piece of pipe, and then he like turns to the other camera and plays like a higher pitch on the pipe. And then they, like the whole Ted is introducing these tribesmen to basketball, but since they're all black guys who are very athletic, they're all like dunking and doing like Harlem Globetrotter shit. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe this shouldn't be in the movie. And then there's of course the homosexual character who embodies what you would expect in 1980s comedy to how you would expect them to present you a homosexual character.
The gay best friend.
Yeah.
Well, let me defend that a little bit.
Okay, go for it.
In the 70s and 80s especially, there was no movie that had a gay character that gay that wasn't the butt of the joke or like a standout, like someone who's made fun of by everyone. And in this movie, he was the one making fun of everyone around him. And that was really unusual.
That's true.
It was really unusual. So I'll give them a lot of credit for flipping that totally on its head.
All right. That's well defended, Bob. Because I remember when someone asked what May Day means, and he's like, it's a Russian holiday, which obviously, like he's just getting at them. And then all the reporters are like, what does the plane look like? And he's like, it looks like a big Tylenol. Like, what do you think a fucking plane looks like? The knife in the back dance joke, this is pretty much going to be all positive from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
When Ted is at the like really shitty bar, and he, I think that's where he meets Elaine, right?
Yeah.
And she's on the dance floor with some guy who had just had a knife thrown in his back, and he's like doing this, like trying to tell people about the knife in his back when it looks like he's doing dance moves.
Oh, for the bingo card, that's a Simpsons reference when Mr. Burns is looking at the security cameras at all the employees, and he thinks Homer's doing calisthenics, but he actually has a sugar daddy stuck on his back, and then Lenny has to give it to him so he could eat it.
There it is. We can't go a week without a Simpsons reference. Yeah. We got to hit the South Park.
Oh yeah.
Or did we already?
We said basketball. That's close.
I said basketball. There's a South Park one I got though.
Yep. The people killing themselves listening to Ted. I know this is wrong, but I just loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Oh man, it is wrong because the like Japanese soldier man is like doing hara-kiri with a knife like right next to him, and the like I don't know. I shudder to guess at what part of the Middle East the man who was lighting himself on fire with kerosene was from. And the old lady just hangs herself, but I still laughed. I couldn't help it.
Do you know the Chinese restaurant episode of Seinfeld when they're waiting for a table the whole episode?
For 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
The guy, the host at the restaurant, that's the guy that killed himself in the plane.
Is it?
With the Japanese soldier, yeah.
How about that?
Same actor.
That's a good episode, Chris, because like they go in, he's like 5 minutes, and then they see like a bunch of people. The whole episode, people are getting seated after they show up.
Yeah.
And then when they go and check at the end of the episode, he's like, 5 minutes, like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I could see how that, like the beauty of Seinfeld is how they bring to light all of the issues that people deal with that no one ever thought could be funny, but Seinfeld makes it funny, right? I just don't really find it that funny. But what I do find funny is that fucking painting Ted was doing at the VA hospital.
That's so funny.
It was so good.
The whole soundstage behind him.
Yeah, the guy's like, can I stop putting my leg in this position now?
Holding a baby upside down.
Yeah. Okay, so I lied. This is a little negative. I didn't mind the Autopilot inflatable thing. Even the blowjob and the smoke afterwards, fine. Mm-hmm. But I felt like he was featured maybe too many times.
It got like a one and done type of bit.
Yeah, because by the time that he's like winking at the camera and like flying the plane with no landing gear at the end, I'm like, why is the inflatable Autopilot thing like still a comedic device in this movie? I don't really understand.
That's true.
Here's a quick one.
It reminds me of sketch comedy like SNL, they always talk about getting an out to a sketch. Like it's hard to exit a good sketch. And I feel like that's kind of what the movie had trouble with, was how do you leave this movie? And I've seen it done well, but they didn't do a great job.
Endings in general, I think, are really difficult.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially to television programs.
Yeah.
The real quick one, but do you want, he's like, can I get one ticket to Chicago, please? Commercial is fine. And she's like, smoking or non-smoking? And he's like, smoking. And then she hands him a literally smoking ticket.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a plume of gray air wafting off the ticket. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh my God. Should I say? I thought this was so funny that I'm going to save it.
Okay.
And this one too. I'm going to save this one too. The line of guests waiting to physically vent their frustrations on the woman who's having a panic attack, including a woman with like a pistol, I thought was pretty funny. McCroskey and Kramer having a conversation over the phone on the same command desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so good. Good fake nose growth in the good graphics department.
Oh, yeah.
When I almost said Liam Neeson, when Leslie Nielsen is lying to the passengers and his nose keeps growing like Pinocchio. I thought they did a pretty good job with that prosthetic growth thing. Even if it's just editing, the way they cut the camera was pretty good for 1980, I thought.
Yep.
Somebody explained to me the horse in the bed joke. I get it. It seemed like a bestiality joke to me.
I don't think there was anything more to it than that. I think
Godfather.
I thought about the Godfather.
Yeah, the horse's head. Yeah, it makes sense.
It was very much the Godfather, because she turned the light on and the horse's head was in the bed, just like the guy in the movie. Except in this one,
then it
she's
zooms out
sleeping with a horse while her husband's out of town. Which
is
really
see, that's
bizarre.
the thing. Is I was like,
I may have missed the establishing shot where, like, I didn't see when it was just a tight close up on the head. I just saw it like she got off the phone. There's a full horse, so I might have missed that.
Yeah, I think Bob is definitely right. I thought of Godfather as well, but I think it was more present in the minds. Like in 1980, when you see a horse's head in bed, your immediate thought is that it's going to be a play on the Godfather movie. Now, like, it took me a second to be like, horse in bed, Godfather. You know, like, it didn't immediately be like, oh, is there a body attached to that horse?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Maybe it just doesn't play as well for people these days. If I said that there was a vulture, a literal vulture like the bird in this movie, would you guys remember what I was talking about?
Yeah, over Ted's shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so fast.
That's a good joke.
I can't even remember what. I just remember the vulture, and I thought I would write it down because I'm pretty sure that Kramer was trying to like talk them down from panicking.
Yeah.
And saying like it's not a doomsday scenario, and then they like go back over Ted's shoulder, and there's like a vulture waiting to eat their dead bodies or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought that was
not to come across as too much of a fanboy, but the exact line he says when they cut over to the vulture is "There's no doubt that you'll come out of this alive and in one piece." and just when they show that, I'm like, oh god, that's so funny.
That is funny. When the reporters scurry off, having gotten the scoop on what's going on with the plane situation, they start the like little montage of the printing press, like printing off newspapers, and the swirling newspaper bit that you see.
Yep.
You know, and it's like newspaper pops up and it's news about the plane. Newspaper pops up and it's news about the plane, and then the newspaper pops up and it says "Boy trapped in refrigerator eats own foot." It's like out of left. I really loved the short montage of old flying machines failing as Ted has nightmares of his past.
Yeah,
like they get more and more crazy. Yeah.
I don't know what's better, that or the in-flight movie of a plane crashing.
Yeah, I thought about that.
That's also great.
That too was so fat. I assure you, there's nothing to worry about. And the old lady like puts her headset back in and it's the plane crashing on the big screen. I love the Easter egg at the end. I mean, they reference him in the middle of the movie, but the guy in the cab who's still waiting for Ted to come back.
Yeah.
they're referenced in the middle of the movie, but they don't. They do that thing that I like, where they don't like force it on you. Like they just show them real fast, and if you get the joke, you get the joke.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, after the credits, they show him one more time. He's like, "If this guy takes more than 20 more minutes, I'm out of here," or whatever. You guys make fun of me 13 or 14 more times.
I'm out of here.
All right, here's the two that I saved.
Okay.
The behind Kramer's car green screen when the guy from the airport comes to get him
It's mountains and
was so funny. Like
So good.
He hits a guy like on a scooter or something. The guy with a bike, and the guy like flips him off and screams asshole or whatever. Yeah. But then he's going like 160 miles an hour according to the green screen behind them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're being chased by like Apaches or something with like bow and arrows.
And the best part of that too is like everything's just happening fine, and then like one guy's just like kind of like looks off, like he sees that it's happening, and then like just goes back to character real quick. Like, fuck? Okay.
Like when Arnold in Commando gets a whiff of the other army's troopers coming downwind. You get that little sense. And finally, Kramer removing his sunglasses, and he has another pair of sunglasses.
Yeah,
gets me. I've seen that clip a number of times, and it's still funny. Like what a like simple but hilarious idea.
I've always wanted to do
that. Yeah, right. All right, we got a couple more segments to do, unless you guys have anything to add before we go to the fact or no fact.
The only thing I want to add, and I think I mentioned it, is just the juxtaposition of background versus foreground. Because I think that's what made basketball really funny too. Is just there's always like you can watch it 100 times, and there's just shit happening behind them that they're paying absolutely no mind to, and like they're doing the straight man bit, and I think it just makes everything that much more funny because like they're either completely ambivalent to what's happening behind them, or they see it and they don't care. And I think that
like it's routine for somebody at the air traffic control center to be doing laundry at the end of the like control panel.
Yeah, it's either they see it and they don't care, or like they just don't notice it, and like either way is funny, and they don't have to tell you which one it is.
Yeah, I do. I like that too.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all I
got. Bob, you want to throw it to fact or no fact?
Ready.
The worst movie ever made presents Fact or No Fact.
Hooray.
Thank you. Okay, so Fact or No Fact special edition. So this is a good movie edition. So I do 5 facts where 4 of them are real, and you are to pick out the lie.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Okay, so I love when this segment is full of things we haven't even talked about yet. Okay,
nice.
So the first one, the movie made back its entire production budget in 2 days in the theaters. That's number 1. Okay. Yep. Number 2, the airport announcers, one of my favorite scenes in the opening. They were actually real life airport announcers and were actually married in real life, just like the characters they played. I love that. White zone is for loading and unloading. Okay.
You do not stop in the red zone.
Jeff Bridges, friend of the pod, and Bo Bridges. Their dad is Lloyd Bridges, the one that plays now I can't think of his character's name.
McCroskey?
I think so, yeah. So that's Lloyd Bridges, right? He did not want to do he wanted to do the part. And his kids both said, no, don't do it. You're a serious actor. Don't do a comedy. It's going to ruin your entire career. So Jeff Bridges tried to talk his dad out of doing it. Okay. Robert Hayes, or Ted Stryker, was a fully licensed pilot in real life. Okay. And last, Vincent Price turned down the role that ultimately went to Leslie Nielsen. And Vincent Price later expressed regret over this choice.
Ooh.
So 4 of these things are real. So the movie made back his whole budget in 2 days.
Wait, I thought you only said... Oh, no, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So the movie made back its budget in 2 days. Airport announcers were actually married and real announcers. Jeff Bridges talked his dad out of doing it. Robert Hayes was actually a pilot, and Vincent Price turned down the role that ultimately went to Leslie Nielsen. One of those is a lie.
Because this is the flip-flop episode. You want to go first, Chris? Because I already have mine locked down.
Yeah. Although I wasn't prepared, but I think I should. Production budget in 2 days. It made its money back in 2 days. That's tough for me because I know that this movie was a success. Obviously, I think the budget was $3.5 million, and it made over $83 million. I think it made 83.5, so it ultimately made $80 million, which is great. But with their struggle to push the studio into making a movie like this, as Bob had said before, it makes you think that people weren't ready to go hit it like it was going to be a blockbuster film. Maybe it was a lot of people saw it and then told their friends to go see it, and it took a couple of weeks before it really made a lot of money. So I'm skeptical right off the bat. Kind of an arbitrary number to pick, though. It's like we're playing poker, Bob and I, right now, because 2 days is a stiff bet. Am I going to make that call? Airport announcers is funny. I just think it's a little obvious to say that they were really married. So, but they must be, because 4 of these are right. Jeff Bridges told his dad not to take this role. That'd be a weird one to make up. Fully licensed pilot, I believe that. Vincent Price regretted not taking. Was that Kramer?
No, Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, Leslie Nielsen. Okay, right. Vincent Price is the doctor. Shit, I'm going to go with my immediate gut reaction and say the production budget in 2 days. They did not make it back in 2 days, just because I feel like I have the most internal evidence for that one. Rob?
I'm not going to explain my reasoning aside from that. I think number 3, Jeff Bridges, is the lie, because in my mind, he's always been cool. He wouldn't be such a little boner to his dad about taking a comedy role. And that's that.
Well,
let's approach it from the back like we usually do. Vincent Price did indeed turn down the role, so that was a fact. Robert Hayes was a fully licensed airline pilot.
Nice.
The airport announcers were real life airport announcers and married.
Oh, okay, all right. So one of us got this.
And the movie did make its entire production budget back in 2 days.
Damn. Wow.
So Rob almost redeems himself this season. I'll say he did.
I'm 8-1. Can't argue with that.
This is going to make you happy, Rob, because Jeff Bridges was cool. He actually talked his dad into taking the role. His dad didn't want to do it. And I almost gave it away because when I was reading it from memory instead of off my paper, and I almost said, I thought you would have caught that gaffe. But yeah, the kids had to convince him to do it because he was afraid to do a comedy. They said, no, do it, it'll be fun. So yeah, Jeff Bridges was always cool. Friend of the pod.
Nice.
Yes, friend of the pod. Our buddy Jeff Bridges. Yeah, we haven't talked to him in a while. We'll have to reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done, Rob. Well done. Too bad you're still going to have to watch a full hour of a half an hour of Cat in the Hat.
That'll be fun, though. I'm looking forward to that, actually.
I can't wait to pick that 30-minute block.
Yeah, Bob, you and I we're gonna have to talk about this off air.
I mean, if you think about it, there's only like really 3 blocks you could pick. It's only an hour and a half, unless you're picking from like 20 to 50 minutes or whatever. But I mean, there's not many options, you know.
As much of Mrs. Kwan as we can pull in there.
All right,
Mrs. Kwan.
Oh fuck.
All right, bad credit names, guys.
Okay.
Not great this week. I'm just gonna read them off. They're not as funny as they are just odd names.
Okay.
Bryden, Brink, first name.
Okay.
Aggie Leon.
Okay.
Another weird first last name. Another weird first name. I want to see if this does anything to either of you.
Okay.
Cyril O'Reilly.
What was the first name?
Cyril O'Reilly.
Cyril.
Does that
Nothing.
Isn't that a
nothing?
guy from? Isn't that a character from Archer? That's
It's a
Cyrus.
character from a show.
Hmm.
No.
Nothing.
Oz, the prison show on HBO.
Oh, okay.
Never saw it.
No, well, you should both check it out. There's plenty of wieners,
Yeah.
but it's an intensely awesome show. Len Mooey,
Okay.
Mooy. Never seen
Okay.
that one. Larry Gilhooly,
Okay.
Edwin Butterworth.
Yes.
Well, that's fortunate. That's the syrup you want in your corner.
I think so, and who knows? Maybe he's grandson of the whole fortune.
Yeah.
Finally, Dick Webb.
Nice. That's like Spider-Man when he's like hitting puberty. He's like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I think this is the only movie they made that didn't have silly things in the credits on purpose. Like a lot of the Zucker movies, they would put like recipes and like little one act plays. Like they'd put little things in the credits just to fuck with you, you know.
That's awesome.
funny.
I never caught that. I'll have to rewatch Basketball one more time this year. And
Yeah.
I've never seen that, so I don't know what the credits are like.
Oh, it's so good, dude. It's
if you like Airplane, you'll like Basketball.
Because I was born in '88, so Basketball to me is probably what Airplane was. It's just literally the same humor plus Matt Stone and Trey Parker. So it's just you can't beat it.
It's a little raunchier, but
yeah,
not even that much.
No,
not much.
So guys, we're doing a little controversial episode next week.
Hell yeah, yeah we are.
We decided that the three of us would pick a movie that is generally well received by viewing audiences, and one that we disagree with that feeling.
Yeah.
So each of us picked a movie. Rob went with Nomadland.
Mm-hmm.
Bob went with Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I went with End of Watch. I thought for sure Boogie Nights would win, just because I thought, I'm not throwing hate at our listening audience, but I thought people would just see Boogie Nights and just click it without, figuring out what the poll was even about.
You got the touch. Yeah.
Turns out what they wanted to hear us make fun of, because it sucked so bad,
Okay.
was End of Watch, which I
don't even know what that is.
Me neither.
It's a fucking awful buddy cop movie.
Oh no.
It's not a comedy.
Yes.
Chris, is one of them playing country and one of them playing hip hop, and they're slapping each other's hands trying to find the radio dial?
They're both like young, successful, like trying to prove themselves on the force cops.
Okay.
Who like get themselves involved in like a drug bust accidentally, and then things go haywire, and you go from there. But nothing against Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. Just Maggie.
Just Maggie. Just well said. Yeah, I do hold that against him. I see Maggie in your face, and it makes me not like you.
I'll say without seeing this yet, I'll say Jake Gyllenhaal. As much as I am okay with him, I do feel like he gets a little more credit than he's worth.
Yeah, I agree. I saw Prince of Persia.
I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding. I haven't. But yeah, he definitely is a little overrated.
Yeah.
Wait until you see this movie. I hope you guys don't disagree, because that'll just make the episode next week awkward. But I promise you, it really is a shit movie, and I know you guys are both movie buffs, so I think you'll agree. And don't worry, I will be sending you complaints, like non-pod related complaints, as the week progresses. So plenty of material for you guys to stoke your fires with. So listening audience, I don't even know where it's available, but check out End of Watch before next week.
Mm-hmm.
As Cousin Todd, friend of the pod, said, it's an aptly named movie.
Okay. And End of Watch, it's available on Amazon, Hulu, and Netflix until the Paramount buyout, which will put it exclusively on HBO, but only if you have the Stars package. So that's where you could find it.
Dude, that sounds like Not the Onion.
Yeah. If that's all we gotta say, I'll say you guys could find us at theworstmovieevermade.com, and there's all the buttons there to click to listen to us and find us and email us and find us on social media. and stream us and all that good stuff.
Email us.
Please. I'm going to make 30 email addresses and I'm just going to start popping off some conversation starters.
Yeah.
All right. So end of watch next week. Let's do it.